I'm Judy Vitale with ReadTheStars.com. I'm sure you've heard about Venus going retrograde in Gemini. Well, she's going retrograde in Gemini starting on May 15th, going all the way through June 27th, 2012. So what does this mean for our lives? When a planet goes retrograde, it doesn't really move backwards, of course. It only appears that way from where we are here on Earth. The two planets are moving in the same direction, but one is moving at a greater speed than the other, and so the other tends to look as though it's going backwards. Witness the effect if you're sitting on a train and the train on the other track looks like it's moving backwards. Same idea. Still, though, the effect on us is as though the planet is moving backwards, so that's why we call it retrograde. When a planet is moving backwards, so to speak, we tend to lose the facility that that planet brings to us. So in Venus's case, this is, of course, love. It is sensuality. It is friendliness. But it's more than that. It also has to do with what part of your chart Venus is in natally, meaning when you were born, what part of your chart Venus is in, and where it is now as it makes this transit over Gemini and over Gemini and over Gemini. For those of us who actually have Venus in Gemini, the trip is going to be very, very noticeable. I do have my Venus in Gemini about 2 degrees before she made her retrograde station at 24 degrees. And she will go all the way back to 9 degrees of Gemini on June the 27th. Along the way, she's going to make just a few little interactions. She'll go back and make another square with Mars, which she made before, on June the 4th. And on that same date, we will have Neptune making its retrograde. So there's a Venus-Neptune energy about June the 4th. And I always caution people, especially if you're falling in love or if you're already in love, that there can be a little bit of deception around that area, but also sometimes enough like of a bit of fairy dust to make it look as though that other special person is the perfect one, and you can then fall into a romance that later becomes a little bit more practical. So that really is the only huge aspect that Venus is going to make, and that's probably pretty fortunate. There will also be some times when we notice the Venus retrograde more than others. One would be on the 17th of June, when the Moon and Venus are together right before the new moon on the 19th. And then a little sooner, on May 22nd, the moon will also be in Gemini. A little bit less of a blip, though, and the moon will conjunct Venus on the 22nd of May, just after that other eclipse in Gemini. So Gemini is a big sign right now. Gemini and Sagittarius, Gemini and Sagittarius. And it really has to do with the process of making decisions. Because with Gemini, we're going between two different ideas. With Sagittarius, we're feeling something very strongly, including the need to know and the need to have a very strong and morally or ethically based truth about our actions. So I wish you a lot of good luck during Venus retrograde. Yeah, you're going to see some people from your past. Some of the time it's going to be pleasant, and some of the times you're going to go, oh no, not again. It is up to you what you do with these relationships. Don't blame Venus retrograde for going back with a bad girlfriend or boyfriend. It isn't about taking what we get. It isn't about settling. And maybe that's what the lesson is about losing the facility of just being nice to people. Maybe it's about making a decision about who is good for us and who is not. And then letting people in and out of our lives accordingly. I hope that you'll handle this with the grace and aplomb that you always do. But if you have questions or comments, you can either write me, Judy, J-U-D-I, at ReadTheStars.com, or better yet, apply for a private video reading. Okay? These are available through my website. There's a little tab there, and you go and send me your information. I send you a little PayPal invoice. You send me back $19.95, a very reasonable price for a true and professional astrologer to look at your chart, your personal chart, and tell you what's going to happen to you now, and with regard to any other question you might have as well. So, again, I'm Judy, J-U-D-I, at ReadTheStars.com, and I hope to hear from you soon.